Alright, so Bitcoin's had a huge bounce today. In the last few videos, we've been talking about this huge red trend line here and how we've basically been rejected from it every single time, and it looks like we finally hopped over. We've had a huge pump today, let's see, from low to high, almost 10% from where the opening of the candle was. So let's see what to look for next. So on the micro time frame, we've been talking about two things. We've been talking about getting above this red line and this orange line here at 40,000, but we've also been talking about this key point of interest here, which is at 34,489. And why this is a key point of interest is this was the last kind of high before we rolled over into this position. So technically this is still a lower high, even though we've broken out of this resistance, which is extremely bullish, don't get me wrong. We've got a decent amount of volume stepping in on the daily, not anything too crazy. RSI is turning up quite a lot, so the RSI does look pretty good right now. What to look for now is hopefully a retest of this 40,000 and to get above this key line here that I'm looking at, which once again is round about 43.5. If we don't get above this 43.5, then I mean technically this is still a lower high. We are very likely to do something like this and roll over, and you know, people would be getting out of bed for a move like this, even though this is still technically, if you look at this high from here, even if it was somewhere around about here, it would still be a lower high. So we have had a really good signal today. This is extremely bullish. We were looking for a move like this on the micro time frame, backtesting the 618 and Wing out, but you can see that we just backtested the 618 and apparently that was enough. Didn't even need a W, just went straight to the moon. So we were also looking at this bearish pennant here, and it looks like we've somewhat invalidated it. Well, technically it's invalidated, but with Bitcoin often, you know, sometimes fakes out in one direction, fakes out in another direction, and then decides to follow through. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but what I am saying is to look out for this key support or this key resistance right now at 43,500. If we're able to break above 43,500, then, you know, we're very likely to come all the way back up to the top here at 67,000. Now, if I get a trend line here, you can see that this is somewhat of a falling wedge. Yeah, it is definitely bigger at the top here. So this is a falling wedge formation, and if you don't know, the target of a falling wedge is right back up at the top of the wedge. So we'll take the conservative target from candle body close on the daily. So if we are able to get above 43, then honestly the target for this move is insane. It would literally be up here at 67,000. Now there are two different ways to do this. Some people like to measure falling wedges like this from a technical standpoint, but also falling wedges do tend to come up to the top of the wedge, so there's no real right or wrong. It's more of which is your preferred method for trading. So if we were just to extrapolate that tool, you could see that we would be coming up for a price target of 52,000, which is insane. So let's mark that as orange, as a potential zone that we could look out for, and let's go check out the other markets to see if there's anything here indicative to tell us what's going to happen for Bitcoin. So the golden pocket on the 618 of the total market cap is right here, and it looks like we've came up and tapped it exactly. Now, what I want to see before I'm screaming bullish for Bitcoin is for the total market cap to get above the 618, because technically we have today retested the 618, and so far we've had one rejection on this wick. You can see obviously we came basically up to, you know, the exact target of the 618, and well, so far we're getting rejected. Whether we're able to open a candle body like here tomorrow and get above it, that is a completely different story. But until we do get above the 618 for the total market cap as well, it is extremely likely that this could be a fake out. If we open a daily candle tomorrow on the total and we start, you know, rolling down and retesting these lows here, then the next target down is all the way here at 1.3 trillion for the total market cap of crypto, which would be about another 25% flush out from where we are now. So yeah, what I'm looking for is to close a daily candle above 40,000. If we're able to close a daily candle above 40,000, then I'm going to be bullish in the short term. But for me to get bullish again in the long term, personally for me, I would need to see a break above the 43,500 and hold at least a daily candle, bounce off this resistance flipped support, and head off to the races. And at that point I would be very macro bullish, and I would be putting in longs. I'd be buying large amounts of Bitcoin. But right now I'm not buying any Bitcoin, I'm not buying any cryptos, I'm not dollar cost averaging into the market. What I'm waiting for is to break above this wick here, and until we do that I won't be buying any Bitcoin, because I don't feel like trying to catch a falling knife in this market. Just for instance, if we come back to my Coinbase chart, everyone when we came down here was telling you, oh, buy now before we go to 100k. When we bounced here and just broke out of it on the daily, everyone was screaming, oh, buy now, buy now. The same that happened like a week ago or so here, the same that happened a couple of days ago as well, and we obviously came down from there. So while this is very bullish, don't get me wrong, I do need to see a break above this line before I'm going to be buying any crypto, because just to reiterate one more time, we could do something like this and roll over and fall off the table, and this would be a lower high from here, which is obviously still continuing the bearish trend. So yeah, that's honestly all I've really got to say. If we come over to the weekly as well, there is one important thing, and that is that the RSI did come down here to 37, which is extremely low. If we come to the monthly, RSI just seems to be growing on the monthly, so this could technically be on the monthly RSI a lower high, something like this. This is very indicative that we're very near the bottom. So while I'm not 100% convinced that this is the bottom, I either think that this is the bottom, or we're going to have one more flush out, maybe to something like 31,000 before heading up to new price targets. And also, just quickly, if we check out the RSI on the daily, we did come down to 20, and the last time we came down to 20 was round here and round here, where we came down to 16 this time, 19 this time, and all the way down to 10 this time. So while it is very likely that this is, you know, one fake out before we roll over again, it is very possible that this is the bottom of the trend. So yeah, once again, none of this is financial advice, they're all just my opinions on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Peace.